Hey guys, it's Louie here again from Wood Unlimited, and today I've got a quick tutorial video to show you about how to use a feature in CorelDraw called Power Clip Inside to create lines around objects or around images or patterns. And then I'm going to show you how you can translate those lines into cut lines to move over into VersaWorks to print and cut on a machine like an SG300 that I've got behind me, or a BN20A like I've got in front of me. It's just a very useful tool that'll make your life a little more efficient, so stay tuned. Alright, so we're back over here in CorelDraw, and I'm going to show you Power Clip at work. So what I've set up is just a few images and shapes here so I can demonstrate how Power Clip works. So I've drawn a circle, I've drawn a square, and then I've taken some images that I found on the internet just to use for this this illustration of how it all works. So the first thing we're going to do is click on one of these images. We're going to right click it and we're going to choose Power Clip Inside. You're going to see that our cursor changed from the white cursor to that black arrow, and now we're going to click inside of this circle. And what that did, it deposited the image inside the circle and it trimmed away all the excess on the outside. We're going to repeat the same thing for the square image with the square box that has been drawn below. So we're going to click on the image, we're going to right click, and we're going to choose Power Clip Inside. And then we're going to deposit that into the square. It's going to go in there, and it trimmed off the excess around the outside. Okay, so part of this is, I want to show you how to prepare these images with cut lines to go into VersaWorks. Now you could just select this outside circle that's around the circular image, and you could right click over here on your Roland VersaWorks palette. You could choose Cut Contour, right click there, and that will put a cut line right on the outside edge of the image. And I don't recommend this for two reasons. Well, really three. One, I don't really like the way it looks when something is cut right up to the edge. Reason number two is that when you send this to the printer, if that cut line is not super precise and cuts right on the edge of that circle, you could have a gap between the outside edge that is cut and the printed area. There could be a gap there, and it would be, if you're using white media, you'll have a white gap there and it'll look really funny. So I don't like that. And then the last reason that I say that is because I read time and time again, I haven't experienced myself, but I read time and time again that if you cut an image on printed media, immediately after it's been printed, that media is saturated with ink and the solvents that are in the ink. And until it gases off, you'll have issues, I guess, where the media is, I guess, it's saturated with the ink and it hasn't evaporated off. So what will happen if you cut through a printed area, you can get curling of the edges. So the adhesive kind of gives up the ghost and the sides try to peel up, and now you're going to be fighting with that and having a hard time. So just three reasons there. So I'm going to go ahead and select this line, and I'm going to take it off of being a cut contour and just put it back as a regular line. So right click the black. Okay, so now I'm going to click the outside circle one more time, and I'm going to create a contour by using the contour tool over here. Contour. And we're going to grab that outside line. We're just going to drag it out. So now we've created a contour. We've got to go back to our pick tool. And now what we've got to do is we've got to separate this inner line from the outer line, because they're actually all one. You can kind of see there's a dot there where it says quadrant, another dot right there where it says quadrant. That's kind of an indicator that those two lines are attached to each other. So the way we detach those lines is by clicking the outside edge, and then we right click and we choose Break Contour Apart. And then what I'm going to do is deselect the image, and then I'm going to reselect just the outside line. And you can see now we've only got the one dot there that says quadrant. So those lines are no longer attached to each other. What that allows us to do is just create a cut line on the furthest most outside circular ring here. So I'm just going to go back over to my cut contour on my Roland VersaWorks palette and right click there. And that just gave me a cut line on the outside of that circle. Alright, so now we're going to repeat the same thing over here for the square. So we're going to select Contour. We're going to bring it out to the outside there. Just drag it out. You can see the two dots. Means those two lines are connected. I'm going to go back and get my pick tool. And then I'm going to deselect. I'm going to select the outside line. I'm going to right click. I'm going to choose Break Contour Apart. And now I'm going to deselect, and when I select this outside line, it'll be independent from the inside line. All right, now I can assign a cut line to it. So I have the outside line selected, and that's the only thing I have selected. I'm going to right click, cut contour. And there we go, we've got a cut line around the outside. One thing I kind of like to do is I just like the appearance of a rounded corner. So I'll go up here and choose a rounded corner for that line, and then just round it up until I think it's visually appealing. So it doesn't really matter, you can use a square corner. I like a rounded corner. All right, so now I'm going to move these images up and kind of out of the way. All right, so the next technique that I'm going to show you is pretty cool and comes in handy. This is a bit of a game changer for me. So when we're doing a square item and a circular item like we just did, you know, those are pretty standard shapes. But a koala bear laying on a limb is not exactly a standard shape. And this is a JPEG, so this is all one image currently. So you can't just assign a cut line to it because there's no, CorelDraw doesn't even know this is a line. It just thinks this is all one image, and it is all one image. So if you look, I'll try to go cut contour, right click, nothing happens, nothing happens. You can't right click this and ungroup it because it's just one object. So the way we work around this is we're going to select the image and we're going to right click it and we're going to go to quick trace, and that's going to trace the image. Okay, so now can't really tell until I grab it and drag it. We have traced the image, and you can see that one image has now become a lot of different shapes, which now we can operate and move and work with each of those shapes independently, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to right click this image and I'm going to ungroup it so I can work with each individual shape. Now I'm going to delete some of the things that I don't want. So the background I don't want these Z's. What I do really want is this outer perimeter of the koala bear. Perfect. So I'm going to move that kind of up here out of the way. Now I'm just going to delete all this other stuff that I don't necessarily need. All right. And then now I'm going to take and I'm going to make this just transparent by clicking on this striped white box over here. And then I'm going to right click the black line to just make it an outline. So now I have an outline that's exactly the size and shape of the koala bear. Okay, so now I've got this line that's right outside the perimeter of the koala bear. So what I'm going to do is use the same technique now that we used with the square and the circle earlier. So I'm going to right click the image and I'm going to choose Power Clip Inside, and I'm going to click where I want the image to deposit. Now because it wasn't centered like the square and the circle were earlier, we're a little bit out of position and we've got to correct that. So the way we do that is by choosing Edit up here in the top left, and then we're going to choose the image, select the image, and I'm just going to use my up arrow to line everything back up. There we go. Now we're pretty close. I'm just going to hit Finish, click on Finish, and then I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it back to the inside. Alright, so now we have a perfect cutout of our koala bear using the power clip. I'm going to select this outside perimeter and we're going to create a contour again like we did earlier. Just drag it to the outside, right there. Go back and select my pick tool. I'm going to grab the outside line. We're going to right click it and we're going to break the contour apart, deselect, select only the outer line, and now we're going to right click our cut contour, and now we've got a cut contour around our koala bear. So relatively simple technique, but extremely powerful if you want to take a JPEG image and then turn it into a vector to get that result. All right, the next thing I want to show you is that you can do this with text as well. So I created some text. When I first created it, it kind of looked like this. I just typed out 2024. I got an image off the internet of some hats, and then all I did was make this hollow. So I'm going to left click that to make it hollow again. So same technique, we're going to click the image, we're going to right click it, and we're going to choose Power Clip Inside. And we're just going to click inside of the text, and bada bing, bada boom, we've got a bunch of graduation hats inside of 2024. And then from that point, you can do, whatever you want to do. If you want to put the cut line, around it, or if you want to create a contour like we did before, and then you just choose your contour tool. You can go around it, break it apart, break contour apart, right click, break contour apart, deselect, select, and then select your cut line, and you've done it. So there you go. All right, and then from that point, what you would do is export this into an EPS or a PDF file, and then you would open it back up, import it into VersaWorks, and then send it to print. Anywhere you've got a pink line, you'd have a cut. Anywhere you've got anything other than a pink line, you would be printing. You have print and cut stickers ready to go using PowerClip Inside. Alright, so it really is that easy to take CorelDraw and PowerClip Inside to take lines and put it around images or put it around patterns to create anything you really can imagine. It's that easy to take a JPEG image, convert it into a vector, create those cut lines to take something from your imagination onto the screen, and then through your printer and into a physical item that you can hold in your hands. If there's anything that I didn't answer properly or didn't explain very clearly in the video, please feel free to drop a comment or a question below, and I'll do my best to go back and answer all of those. And then also I have another video. If you don't already know how to create the color palette for Roland VersaWorks so you can create cut lines, there's another video where I'll walk you through that entire process, so please feel free to check that out. If you did find any benefit in this video, it'll help me out tremendously if you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me out a lot. And we put out new content every now and then, so just check us out, and we'll be dropping some more content soon. Hopefully it'll help you out. Thanks for joining.